Hey everybody, Jim here with another video for you. This is Shocktober Volume 12, Frightenly Funny Films. But before we begin, at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Most importantly, please leave comments below. Let me know what some of your favorite horror comedies are or some of your favorite horror movies that have comical elements involved. Now, I've been breaking these videos up into different categories and this and that and the other, and some of the films that I've already covered on other installments could quite easily fit into this category. Movies like Fright Night, The Lost Boys, we've talked about Ghostbusters, and then there's many other examples like the Scary Movie franchise, for instance. But we're only going, I'm trying to do these things in a way that I don't highlight movies more than once until towards the end when I start ranking these bad boys. So I've just been trying to show movies that quite honestly could have fit into previous installments, but I was saving for this installment. But we're going to start off with, to me, still the greatest horror comedy of all time. And it was my gateway to horror movies in a lot of ways. And it was certainly my gateway to the wonderful Mel Brooks with his 1974 comedy masterpiece, Young Frankenstein. Starring Gene Wilder, Terry Garr, Madeline Kahn, Cloris Leachman, Peter Boyle, and Marty Feldman as Igor. To me, this is a perfect comedy. Like I said, it was my gateway into the horror genre. I saw this theatrically when I was about 7 years old, maybe 8, pretty close to being 8 at the time. And it left a huge mark on me, and does to this day. This is one of those movies, again, that I could watch over and over, and it still makes me laugh every time I see it. This movie contains my favorite Gene Wilder performance ever, and to me, Marty Feldman as Igor is one of the best comedic performances in any movie, period. He is absolutely genius in this movie. I absolutely love Young Frankenstein. And to me, like I said, it is the perfect comedy. Unfortunately, we go from Frankenstein to vampires with a huge stepping down in quality. And we're talking about Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood. I was going to include this on my vampire video, but I wanted to save it because, quite honestly, this is a comedy, even though it's not very funny. Stars Dennis Miller, Chris Sarandon, and Corey Feldman, among others. This movie sucks. I've gone on several videos before talking about how I cannot stand this video. The only reason why I own it is because the bonus features on this particular Scream Factory edition, it's just people basically talking about Dennis Miller and how much of a jackass he is. The commentary track is actually more entertaining than the audio track of the movie. But again, this was a failed attempt at a horror comedy in my eyes. Demon Knight is more of a horror movie with some comedic elements in it, and that movie's fantastic. This movie, Tales from the Crypt, definitely struck out on. And that brings me to Death Becomes Her, which quite honestly could have been a Tales from the Crypt movie. It feels like one. This one is directed by Robert Zemeckis, who was one of the creative geniuses behind the Tales from the Crypt TV show and movies. And this one has a killer cast starring Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Isabella Rossellini, among others. Special effects still hold up in this movie. This is about two vain women who want to stay young forever and use a secret kind of, I don't even know, voodoo, whatever, some sort of secret potion that keeps them young. But it basically, once they die, they don't actually die. And that's where the hijinks come into play. Bruce Willis, this is one of his best performances because he plays a character completely against type of what he normally would play. He plays the nebbish little bookworm type guy afraid of his own shadow. These two, on the other hand, steal the show. They are great in this movie. I really, really, really enjoy Death Becomes Her. But if we're talking about comedies having to do with the undead, we have to be talking, at least to begin this conversation, with the first part of Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, starring Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, among others. The great Bill Nighy's in this movie as well. This was definitely my introduction to both of these guys, and Edgar Wright, of course. In this movie, I will always love for multitudes of reasons. First and foremost, it's a great movie. I mean, Shaun of the Dead it's a great, great film. But it also kind of ushered in a renaissance for zombies, for better or worse. Because right around this time, also 28 Days Later came out. Walking Dead was just starting to start up. But directly because of this movie, George A. Romero got a chance to bring another zombie theatrical effort to the screen, which was Land of the Dead in 2005. And even though that's an uneven movie, I will always, always, always be grateful to Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg for writing and directing this masterpiece. Because again, without this movie, George Romero never would have gotten another chance to do a zombie theatrical effort. And again, we're talking zombie comedies. Let's stick to that and go with Zombieland, starring Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, and in one of the greatest cameos ever, Bill Murray. This one's directed by Ruben Fleischer, and I love this movie. I don't really like the sequel that much, but this movie is absolutely hysterically funny. It's gory. It's just great. I'll never forget seeing this theatrically. I went on a sneak preview the night before this came out with a couple of friends, and a little peek behind the curtain. I have suffered from depression off and on through the years, and at this time when this movie came out, I was suffering through really bad depression. And my two friends took me to see this just as a lark to get me out of the house, and I laughed my ass off for 2 hours, and I will always be grateful to them for helping me get out of that dark place. And this movie actually helped quite a bit. I love Zombieland. Okay, now the next couple are dark comedies. Since we're going from zombies, let's go to The Menu. Yeah, I've got a sick sense of humor. This one stars Ray Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo, Judith Light. I mean, this movie's got a great cast. And again, this is definitely not a horror movie. This is a dark, black comedy. But it's definitely got some horrific elements involved. And I love this movie. I think it is absolutely hilarious. It's a pitch-perfect satire of the whole food culture that's going on. And Ray Fiennes, I mean, everybody in this movie is on fire. But Ray Fiennes, I think, steals the show. He is perfect as the megalomaniacal chef. Loved, loved, loved this movie. And then we've got The Hunt. This one stars Betty Gilpin, Hilary Swank, and Ike Barinholtz, among others. This movie came out literally the week of the pandemic, and the movie theaters closed out as this movie hit the theaters, and it's a shame. Because again, this movie's a lot of fun. And again, it's not a horror movie, but it's got some horrific elements, and this movie's bloody as hell. I really enjoy this movie. A lot of people have not seen this movie. Give it a chance. It's not what you really think it is. It's a lot of fun. But speaking of fun, and similar to The Hunt in a way, is Ready or Not. This one is directed by the team known as Radio Silence. And it stars the wonderful Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Henry Czerny, and the beautiful Andie MacDowell. When I did the home invasion video, a lot of people were saying, hey, where's Ready or Not? This is why I held off. Yes, this could go into the home invasion thriller. To me, this movie's a comedy. It's funny as hell. And it is bloody as hell. And it is entertaining as hell. I absolutely love Ready or Not. If you haven't seen this one, please check it out. It is so, so good. And Samara Weaving is a rock star. And then we got two more for you. They both have to do with a cabin in the woods. First one is The Cabin in the Woods. This one is directed by Drew Goddard. And it stars Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Richard Jenkins, and Bradley Whitford, among others. This movie could have fit in the WTF category. It could have fit into any of the creature categories. It even could have ended up in the post-apocalyptic horror movies, because the ending of this movie certainly is all of that. But again, I wanted to save this one because to me, this movie blends the horror and the comedy perfectly. This is a great movie, and it's a love letter to people of all ages who love horror movies, because that's exactly what this movie is. It's a love letter to those fans. I saw this theatrically with my son Cameron when he was a kid. He was just starting to get into horror movies at the time, and we both enjoyed it, but I was howling with laughter and giggling like a schoolgirl the entire time, because there are so many inside jokes and so many references to other movies, and being a horror junkie like me, it was like crack. I absolutely adore this film. We're going to end it on this one. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Starring Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, and Contrita Bowden, among others. This one is directed by, what's his name again? Eli Craig, I'm sorry. This movie has the unfortunate title of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. If they could have came up with a easier off the tongue title than that, this movie would have been a huge hit. I never heard of it. I don't know if it even got a theatrical release. If it did, it played the art house circuit, because I had never heard of this movie. And I never heard of it until I saw it in a family video bargain bin for sale for $2. And because I liked Alan Tudyk, I decided, hey, $2, so I bought it, the DVD. And I laughed my ass off. To me, this is the best horror comedy in the last 20 years. And yes, I am including Cabin in the Woods, and I am including Zombieland. This movie's hysterical, and it's gory as hell. It's not scary. There are a couple of jump scares in it, but it's an absolutely brilliant, stupid movie. And by that, I mean, it's a dumb movie that is a hell of a lot smarter than you think. And these two guys, Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine, who play Tucker and Dale, who play Tucker and Dale, are like one of the best comedy teams ever. This is a bromance. That's what they should have called this movie, Hillbilly Bromance, because these two are so damn sweet together. They're truly best friends, but it's so much more than that. And again, this movie's hysterically funny. If you've never seen it, take a chance. If you can get it somewhere streaming, I guarantee you will absolutely love this batshit crazy movie. It is so much fun. And that's how we're going to end this installment of Shocktober, Frightenly Funny Films. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Most importantly, leave those comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. And we'll catch you on the next one.